are handed a form to fill out, and when finished and submitted, they are told to return at sunrise the next morning and wait in the designated area for their name to be called. From behind the desk, a clerk calls, Aviro? From Waterdeep? A thin young elven male dressed in robes.
Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing? Let us see if we can... Hey, Jeff, can you say something?
Check, 1, 2. Something.
Hey, guess what? We can hear you now.
Yay!
All right. Thank you, everyone, for sticking with us. Hopefully you did. Hopefully that helps. Sorry about that. You know, there's always going to be a problem occasionally with little issues here and there, but
I'd say live theater, but it's kind of theater.
yeah. So for about the last 20 minutes, we have not heard this great information. Yeah. So let's
recap.
Let's recap. We talked about Aviro's past. He's an elf background. He's got he's library bound. He's very nervous. You were saying
he's a lifelong academic.
Yep.
He's a perpetual student and has been sent out from the Blackstaff Tower where he is studying to go get practical knowledge. And he is not allowed to take classes again until further notice. And they have not told him how long it's going to be, and it drives him nuts.
Yes. So one of the things we're talking about is that he visits the Waterdeep Library quite, and there is a female orc librarian named Grilka that you've had some interactions with, and Aviro spends a lot of time there. And he recently, after his 100th birthday, he started to get into a different section. He had just finished the magical creatures section of studying. Now he moved on to the planes and some theoretical arcane theories section of the library. And then one particular night, as he's reading, he hears a hello, and nothing else.
Can't find it.
And then the next night, he hears a hello. And Aviro kind of looks around again, and he's like, hi. And again, not much at all. Later on, another night comes up, and the question comes of Aviro's asked by this voice, what book you holding there? What are you looking at? And Aviro looks around, doesn't see anyone, and that's all that voice he hears. He goes, talks to Grilka, right? No. Grilka. Yeah, I can't say it. And so we talked to Grilka, and you were saying about spirits or something along those lines, and she mentions it's like, hey, there's no spirits in that. I know of it. I don't have any recording devices for you. And she's kind of looks at you a little strangely as well, like, she's maybe seen wizards go mad talking to themselves. So she's kind of like, nope, it could be someone just pulling a prank or something else. But, they better not be pulling a prank in my library. But, so right. She kind of reassures you that there's no ghosts or spirits in that section, maybe a different section, which she says, hey, look, I'm not going to tell you which the section it is. So that's where we pick up. So again, thank you everyone for rejoining us. We're back. Hopefully everyone can hear everyone. So we pick up the next night as you bring up with your stuff, and you were told that there's like a magic mouth or programmable illusion that can have interaction voices. But what does Aviro do the next night?
So he sits with he takes the table or the desk furthest at the very, very, very end of the room with his back to the wall so he can see the entirety of the library, or at least the section that he's in, so that if anyone's around, they'll be able to see it.
Okay. All right.
He's got books and he's ready to read.
So the next night, as you're reading and you're looking and reading this entire... Nothing happens.
Okay.
The following night, you go back to the same chair and table and do the same thing. Okay. And about midway through the night, you hear this very kind of shy voice go, "Hi."
Yes, hello. Are you the same person that's been speaking to me previously?
I said hello before, yes. Who are you? What are you reading?
I will answer one of those questions if you will answer one question of mine. We can go back and forth. How's that?
Maybe.
All right. The book I am reading is on the celestial plane. It's Oglethorpe's Guide to the Celestial Plane, Volume 5.
Who are you?
I'm Aviro. Who are you?
Aviro. I see you a lot in here.
Yes, I'm Aviro. You're not Aviro. Who are you?
You can call me Paige.
Paige. Is that Page or Paig?
Yes.
Fair enough. Where are you?
Around.
Are you a spirit?
No.
You a ghost?
No.
He racks his brain. He can't think of anything else that this thing might be, but he's determined to come up with something.
You ask a lot of questions.
Yes, I'm very inquisitive. All the adults tell me so.
You're a wizard?
I hope to be.
Okay.
What are you?
And quiet.
Hello?
Quiet.
Paige?
So the rest of the night is just
Nothing.
quiet. Yeah, nothing. You're just... But over the course of the next several nights, when you're in... What's that?
Oh, I was going to say, that night when he leaves, he is going to tell Groka that the thing contacted him and told him that its name's Paige.
And she kind of looks at you and goes, "Okay, thank you for letting me know."
I don't know if you can just set wards or anything, but it doesn't seem to be malicious yet.
And she's just like, thank you for that. Yeah, I'll see what I can do. Okay. And she's just like, she doesn't dismiss Aviro, but she's definitely like, okay, if I had to put up a ward every time someone heard a voice in the library. And she's older. She's been around for a while. So over the course of, like I said, the next few nights and actually the next few weeks, occasionally, depending on how things go, this voice comes back, and it actually is very inquisitive as well. And it's looking, what are you learning? What are you asking? What are you studying? So some of the questions, like you're studying to become a wizard. What field of study do you like? Things like that, conversations. And over the course of the next few weeks, you have interesting conversations. And the other thing is, eventually you actually have conversations about magical theories. And you get the impression that this entity, this thing, this whatever it is, because it doesn't reveal itself, is been around for a while. It's been in the library or is very knowledgeable for a while. And you start to feel like it's not a prank, but more of like something that is spending time in the library as you, but doesn't want to reveal itself.
Yeah. He on one of these occasions, he asks Paige if it knows about Groka, and does Groka know about it?
They does say, he's like, be careful with that librarian Grilka. She has a mean streak, but she does like her lemon nut bars.
Lemon nut bars?
Yes, if you ever want to get on her good side, lemon nut bars.
Noted. Thank you.
But you get the impression that Grilka doesn't know of him, but he knows of Grilka.
Okay. The next day, he brings lemon nut bars into the library and offers one to
You
Grilka. Gain
favor with Grilka. Definitely. Yeah, you're definitely, over the course of the next few weeks, Grilka gives you, like, over the course of the next month or two with this, you're getting more and more access to some of the other libraries stuff and sections and things of that nature.
Cool.
And over the course of the next few months, you seem to have an interesting, almost friendship with this voice. And there's debates, there's conversation, and it's not every night, but there are several times a week that you have these conversations. And it's generally centered around what book you're reading currently.
Okay.
And this goes on for like several months as time kind of goes on. Now, there are things that kind of pop in that are a little bit more interesting. One day, as you're in this, you moved on to another section. And it took a little while because you had a conversation that you were going to move on to that next section. And the voice happened to be in the next section. And it continues the conversation with you in the other section. So it kind of follows you a little bit in a way because it's learning and talking to you as well about these books. But the interesting thing that happens is that one day you had a conversation about some restricted books or some books you really, really would like to touch. You know, we talked about that Stephen Hawking type level of books from the Master Wizards and stuff like that. So one day you go back, you're going into this section and you go back, and on the back table, there is a book bound, very hard leather. It's got an iron, like,
clasp
on it, but it's unlocked.
Ooh.
And as you look at it, it's Xandathar's theory grimoire of conjuring called Assembling and Disassembling Matter. And what can you do with disintegrated matter?
Well, he flips through that, certainly.
And it's going to take you a few days to look through that.
Well, yeah, but he doesn't know if it's going to show up again, so he's speed reading as fast as he can to try and get through as much of this thing because he doesn't know if he'll ever have access to it again.
And you hear Paige's voice of like, anything good in there?
There's all kinds of good things in here.
Good. Just leave it on the table when you're done, and I'll put it back with you if you come back tomorrow.
You brought this.
Yeah.
Pull this down. Put this here.
Yeah.
All right. Deal. Is there anything I can do for you?
Just talk to me.
Done.
So over the course of the next 3 nights, you're able to read this grimoire.
Wow.
And then later on, over the course of the next few weeks, Herminot's magical item theory book happens to be there as well.
Ooh.
And you start talking about magic items and the properties of magic items and what makes a magic item and crafting the magic items. And when disassembling magic items and losing their magical powers and their structures and stuff like that. So you get the whole like book on that. And this is a very high level theory book.
Yeah. Yeah. Where does the dissipated energy go, and how is it safely removed or transferred? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And in the course of that, you have debates with this entity, this voice. Like, I've read that, theory of magic, you're conjuring, but the magical symbols, there's supposed to be rune symbols and the different hand gestures of an evocation versus the aberrations somewhat similar, but not are quite different.
Yes, it's all in the fingers. I've learned.
Well, when you're so studying as a wizard, you have to make sure that the hand motions and is it energy, or is it more the speaking and the verbal and things of that nature?
It entirely depends on the spell. All of those things are very important. However, the spell is what dictates the requirements, whether or not it requires a somatic component or a physical component or a verbal component or a combination of all of the above.
Mm-hmm. It's just by studying the book and the symbols and the hand gestures, you'll be able to incorporate that magical. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. But I found that the more you understand about the nature of arcanics, the more that it all makes sense. The more you understand about each area, the more all of it makes sense together because it's all related.
Interesting. I read in one book one time, it was talking about the magical theories of high level spells compared to low level spells, and just the amount of energy and the experience of being able to go from practicing the basic spells to prepare you for the higher level spell. Where's that book again? Oh,
it does seem to be cumulative in what I've read, that the basic levels of spells you build upon the knowledge and the skills gained in that in order to be able to cast these higher level spells.
I'll grab a book or two maybe later on, and you'll have to read it so we can have a good discussion about this, because there's a part in there I just don't understand. But
well, I hope I understand.
So over the course, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just said we'll find out.
Yes. So again, this kind of goes on for a few more days, a few more weeks, and it's a nice, comfortable. It's making the experience of studying and having those conversations warm. But one particular night, as you get there, you don't, and you're studying, and again, it's not like the voice comes immediately, and it comes at various times and locations and things of that nature, and debates and things of that nature, because he realizes the debate over the course of time, having those debates deter from the reading. So it kind of comes in. It's not every single night, but it's like I said, it's over the course that, several times during a week.
Takes longer to read a book when you're also talking.
Exactly. But one particular night, you're reading, you haven't, the page's voice has not popped up or anything like that. And I already rolled, but so you're kind of sitting there, and you hear a little tap above you, and you see suddenly the shadow of light kind of over the book, and there's almost like a hand puppet shadow on the book page as you're kind of in between these two bookshelves.
Okay.
What do you do?
Look up to see if there's anything blocking the light source.
And as you look up, you hear this voice, and it's actually quite familiar. It's, your nose is going to turn round if you keep sticking it into those old tomes. And you look up, and it's Mari, your sister.
Yay!
Who just came back from an adventure or quest or something like that, and she's just kind of lounging. She snuck in without you realizing, got up there, and was probably been sitting there for like a minute or two while your nose is just in this book. And she just smiles, hops down, and she's like, "Little brother," and she gives you the kind of little hug, because she knows it kind of, she's very friendly. It's like, and she kind of looks at the book a little and is like, "What you reading now?"
So he explains whatever it is.
And like within one sentence, she's like, "All right, that's enough." It's like, "So when are you getting out of here? When have you gone on your adventures yet? Are you still studying?"
"Oh, I'm still studying. I leave when I need to go meditate."
"Well, that's not what I mean, little brother. I mean, how are your classes?"
Oh, they're going quite well.
Good.
They tell me that they're going to elevate my rank yet again and move me to more advanced classes for the third time as I finish all the coursework about a third of the time as the rest of the students. Mother is very cross about it. She wants me to slow down and take my time. But father thinks it's brilliant because it, as you know, father doesn't take things the way that most people do.
True. Have you signed up for a sabbatical yet to get out and do an internship out?
But no, I've not learned everything.
There's more to life than just books. And Mira's a bubbly of just complete opposite of Aviro. She's optimistic, joyous, exciting, very charismatic. But she has that magical. She's actually doing a little magic as she's kind of looking at her fingers and just kind of like she's very expressive. She's like,
she's like rolling a coin of energy across her fingers.
Yeah. She's like, Aviro, you really need to get out and just experience life and an internship sometime. You out of the library. There's more than life outside the library.
Once I've learned everything and finished school, I will of course get an internship, but I'm not there yet.
There's so much. All right. Promise me, soon you will take a small week sabbatical in the next several months.
Yes, in the next several months, I will make that. In the next several months, I will make the promise to you that I will take a sabbatical.
Well, it's excellent to see you, big brother. It's again. I'm just in town to see everyone. You'll be home for dinner tomorrow. We hope to have see mother and father. But I just wanted to check in on you and see how you're doing.
I'm very good. How's Fifi? Fifi is her little pet.
Oh,
her familiar.
Yeah, she's doing well. She ate a bug the other day and was delighted. The adventurers I've been meeting are joyous. Maybe you can join me at the pub, at the tavern some evening. You'll have a little drink with some of my friends.
Sure. Did you bring me back any books?
At home, there might be one waiting for you. Anyways, it's good to see you. I will see you later tomorrow.
I'll see you at home.
Yes. Take care, little brother.
You too.
And she kind of goes off, and over the course of the next several months, and I'm going to assume the next 3 years, because you don't do that. You don't go on sabbatical.
Well, it was so within he made the prom. He said in his brain, in the next few months, I will promise. He's not saying he promises to take the sabbatical in the next few months. He's promised to make the promise in the next few months.
Yes. And I see that over the next several years.
Yeah.
It goes by and he's still not.
Yeah.
Still not on this.
Yeah.
And in the course of those years, like I said, the conversations kind of come and go. So there are maybe a month go by that there's no conversations with Paige.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's others, like there's an intense, things of that nature that kind of come through. And the knowledge, books and things of that nature, the conversations of, the study of magic and different thing kind of comes up. Some of the other books that come up are What is a Curse? And When is a Curse? When a Curse Isn't a Curse? By Philemont Springer. And then Aberrations, Magic Items, Creation Theories. Are they better or average? So there's a lot of on those debates, and there's some books out, and you have this course of conversations. 3 years go by as you're still reading the books and reading the library, and you're having a conversation with this voice Paige. And you're having a debate. You're like, so, did you finish that Wen book?
Of course I did.
Okay. Where are we? What area are you moving to? What section are you going to be moving to next week?
Well, next week I'm thinking about going into summoning into where are you pulling creatures and items from when you look into your summoning,
Christy.
and whether or not you need to bind them first, or if they come willingly, all that kind of thing. Are you creating them or are you pulling them?
And then suddenly, Paige goes silent as you hear Mira's
Paige does
voice
that.
behind you, like, Aviro, who are you talking to?
Who asked that?
Your sister, Mira.
Oh,
who
Mari.
pops in.
Mari, who am I?
Mari.
Oh,
Mari, who are you talking to, Aviro?
no one. Just myself, talking to myself.
Really?
Yeah.
Is everything okay? Are you feeling all right?
Yes, everything's fine. When did you get here? He
Just the other
changes the
night.
subject.
Just the other night.
I haven't seen you.
I've
You haven't come home.
been traveling. Little Baldur's Gate, southern regions. It's taken some time. A particular item quest that I had for the Black Towers.
What did you find?
Oh, just some scrolls and some a small artifact of things. But
What kind of scrolls?
oh, not important.
Anything to change the subject.
Yeah, she's like trying to get back. She's like, "Are you sure you're okay? You're feeling all right?
I'm fine. Yes, of course.
Have you taken your sabbatical?
No,
Oh,
not yet.
okay.
It's not time yet.
All right. Well, and it's kind of early in the evening. It's like, well, I was on my way to the tavern to meet some friends of mine. Are you free? Would you care to join me?
Oh, not just this evening. How about tomorrow?
Yes. How about tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
How are the headmasters these days? Have they given you some new work?
Oh, Professor Quillbits is the same as always. He just assigned so much homework. I loved. But Professor Trinake is the worst. Never assigns any homework whatsoever. Allows us to do it in class. I don't understand. Why do you call it homework if you allow us to do it in class? Ridiculous, if you ask me. How this man got tenures beyond me.
Well, he is on the council, so
yes, he is on the council.
Well, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll send you a message on where to meet me.
Yeah, that sounds great.
So the rest of the evening kind of just subsides, and
okay, she's gone,
and you don't hear anything that night.
After 3 years of this, he's pretty used to it.
Yeah. The next night, do you go to the tavern?
It depends on whether or not he has heard from Mari ahead of time or not.
She probably sent you a quick note that got delivered about a tavern and a time.
All right, then he'll go to the library beforehand. And I got to get my cat. We'll go to the library beforehand, and then we'll leave at the appropriate time to make it to the tavern.
So, in the course of this particular time, as you're in the library, the voice page does talk to you. It's like, "Hi, how's everything? It's the book.
It's great. It's wonderful."
And gets into a debate about something of creatures.
Mm-hmm. Do I lose track of time?
And you do lose track of time because you get asked a question. What is your opinion of aberrations and creatures?
I certainly don't want to meet one.
Are all creatures inherently evil?
All? No.
Or ones that are deemed? Is a beholder automatically evil? And you have this debate.
That's really more of a philosophy question.
Exactly.
I don't know. I've never spoken to a beholder. I suppose it's entirely possible within the realm of the grand scheme of everything that there are some beholders that are not specifically evil.
So as you are, where are you? Are you in between two shelves, or are you at a table in one of the corners? Where is
Usually,
Aviro?
so he now once well, years ago when Paige was becoming more regular, he takes the furthest corner, secluded kind of cubby, study desk to be as far removed from anyone so that he can converse without in a hushed tone without being overheard and not be in the kind of the main area.
Okay. And over the course of this conversation while you're sitting in the cubby, Paige goes, "Do you get scared easily?"
I get scared easily? I like to think of myself as cautious.
Okay. Can I show you something? And hopefully you don't get scared.
Sure.
And one of the books that's next to this cubby, that's kind of laying flat, that was there before you got there, and you hadn't been looking at the book or anything like that, you see open up to show a mouth. And it starts talking. So, hi, I'm Paige.
Arcana check.
Roll that Arcana check.
-1.
Yeah, -1.
23.
You're looking at a mimic.
Okay. So you're a mimic. You're inhabiting a mimic. You are creating the illusion of a mimic. What are you, Paige?
I am a mimic.
You are a mimic.
I've been here for many, many years.
What book does it claim to be? And have I had this book on my table before?
You've had the book on your table before.
Okay.
It's an arcane theory book of creatures.
Okay.
So it looked a little odd. You've read the book before, but you put it away, and then it was back on the thing, on the table and stuff like that.
How do you move? He wants to know everything about. He's just bombarding this thing with questions.
Quietly.
Yes, clearly. But how do you translocate? Do you fly? Do you hover? Do you levitate? Do you walk? Do you have limbs? Do you have legs? Do you eat? How do you subsist? Where did you learn language?
And over the course of time, in this particular night, and this is why you get distracted and forget.
Yeah.
You learn that you only learn a little bit, but you learn enough that Paige is an intelligent mimic. That over the course of several years, that they have learned some magic, but not very much. They've read a lot since they've had the entire library. You suspect that there are, even though it's this book, it's possible Paige is larger than just this book.
Yeah, and that's why he's like, can you inhabit books? How do you get in? How do you get out?
Anything, at times, depending on the things, they have limbs, she, they have limbs that propods that can be extended out, but a very, very unique mimic. And as they indicate that they're not a typical mimic, and that whatever magical situation in the creation of the mimic was over the course of years that they've developed. And they don't fly, they move, but they're so quiet, and they've learned to adapt to the environment of the library.
Have you been every single book that you've brought me?
Not all of them. Not all of them. But some of them it's hard because sometimes I stick to the pages, and it's, and it's doesn't. That's why reading and you realize that sometimes it's hard for they to control the adhesive. So reading the book is one of those things, and then it starts to go that some of the books in previous, there was like a little page torn or like ripped, or even there was a little bit of some like gel on the book cover, and it makes complete sense. Not all the time, but yeah.
Wow. So he completely blows off his sister and forgets about her.
Oh yeah.
And spends time almost interrogating.
Oh yeah, and there's so much of that information that kind of goes on, and there's like, don't tell anyone, because it's this secret that, because if he knows of some of the wizards, and there's one or two wizards that know of him, but most people don't.
Oh, okay.
And that if they found out, there would be a hunt, and he doesn't want to be.
Yeah, so he specifically asks which wizards.
He does not say. He does not tell you.
So I can't talk about anybody.
Yes. And you're pretty sure the reason why they said that, because they don't want you to share that.
Yeah. Okay.
So over that next night, you go back home. The next morning, you get a summons to the headmaster's office.
Uh-oh. Like the actual Blackstaff himself?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
The department head.
Oh, the department head. Okay.
Yeah, the department head. Yeah,
okay, not the actual
Not the
Blackstaff
actual head. Yeah, so the department head.
Okay. All right, that's fair.
And in this meeting is where that one or two of the professors, including the headmaster, bring forth of you've been doing excellent work, but this is the conversation of, you need to go on sabbatical. You will no longer be able to be in the Black Spire until you complete a sabbatical.
So what you're saying is he has known this mimic now for 50 years.
No, only for probably about, because you're 107?
170.
Oh, 170?
Yeah.
See, 100 is adult.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
so 100 is adult.
Gotcha. Sure. 107. Sure. Fine.
So I was thinking about
I was adding a 0 essentially to the end of, if you take a human, you add exactly. a 0 at the end. That's
so being like 100, 107, he's still a young man.
Gotcha.
So I was like 107. So probably for the last like 4 years, this has been kind of going on.
Gotcha.
Maybe 4 years, 106. So, but this is the time where it's like right before you leave, the reveal of, you're like, you need to go. You need to be surrounded. You can no longer be here. We will set you up we've been informed, the guild. We'll set you up with the Adventurers Guild.
Saltmarsh Adventurers Guild is looking for
the people. You were at Split Rock, so go to Split Rock. The Adventurers Guild of Split Rock. They will have.
We have paid your ticket for the boat. Here's everything you need to know.
Exactly.
Get out.
Just get out. Give me a D20 roll, an intelligence roll.
Intelligence roll.
Yeah, give me an intelligence roll. So give me a D20 plus your intelligence. No, we'll keep your proficiency.
Okay. Oh no, that's a 2 on the die for a total of 7.
So you don't get this at first.
It's because he's so
it's just distraught.
It's just so disheartened.
And then later on, you get home, you tell your parents. Your parents are like excited, but not. Your sister is there, and she's
thrilled. He accuses her. In fact, you went to the headmaster, and this is your fault, isn't it? You were the one who suggested this.
And she smiles.
I'm so mad at you.
And you're pretty sure it was her fault. Yeah. And what you missed was the information on the desk that was signed by her, a letter from her. And you're pretty sure at this moment you realize because of the quest that she did for the Black Tower, she called in a favor to get you out. And then helped you and went with send him to the Adventures Guild. He needs to do this.
How could you do this to me? How could you ruin my life this way?
And she loves you, and she gives you and make sure that you're like all the items that you need because you've never been on an adventure. She gets them prepped for you and gets you all. And the day that you're about to go on the boat and ship to travel to Split, she adjusts you everything and gets you all. And she's like, "Don't die. I'm looking forward."
Do you want to know where I wouldn't die? Here at home in the library.
You'll do fine. And she gives you a big hug and sends you on your way.
As he's loaded with his pack, with his everything. He's got pots and his bedroll and a tent. And
now,
he's bristling with stuff, but none of it's weapons.
You're pretty sure you didn't have enough time to go back to the library.
Aww.
Would you have left a note or had someone ask someone to leave a note somewhere in the library?
Yeah, he would have made Mari do it.
Okay. And Mari you would have written out the note, you would have given her just set it there and leave.
Just set it there and on his back table and leave.
And that's exactly what she had done. So, but yeah. So that sets the course for how Aviro has begun and why his affinitive of the arcane studies and the debates and the conversations of his backstory.
He befriended a mimic. He's so excited to go home someday and talk about all the things that he's learned.
Yeah.
With Paige. Aw, that's pretty fun. Aviro's got a mimic friend. Aw.
Aviro,
you might have to write home now. You might have to write home. Deliver this to the library and leave it on a table.
Strange request.
Yeah. But it's in invisible ink, so only the mimic can read it.
Yep. So yeah, that is a little bit of a taste of Aviro's. What makes Aviro Aviro?
That's fun. I love it. I love it so much. That was great. I love the mimic. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
And lemon nut bars for Grilka.
Lemon nut for Grilka. So, and that's like I said, and we might dive in a little bit more because there's you probably spent a good 3 or 4 months ship wide to get to Split Rock and then on your way to Saltmarsh before you got grouped in.
Right.
And as Aviro is sitting in the tavern of the Wicker Goat, thinking about things, the thought of the library, of what his he just got done with the adventure. He's sitting in the tavern drinking his tea, and his mind wanders a little bit back to the library. And the group of friends that you have, Blastock, Rin, and you're sitting there and you reminisce about your adventures that you've been going on and Split Rock, and you think about your sister for a second, and the thought of, wait a minute, would Mari have sent a letter to the guild to specifically put these types of people in his life?
Is she that devious? Yes.
Yeah.
Whether or not she actually did it, he will never know.
True.
But he's suspicious now.
Yes, he is.
He will never know he is suspicious.
It's probably not these specific, not specifically Glassdock or Bryn, but these types of people.
He needs to experience people completely unlike anyone he's ever experienced before. Yeah.
And you're pretty sure there was a reason why the Adventurers Guild put the three of us together.
Yeah, instead of 4 or 5 or whatever. They picked just 3. Oh, she's devious.
Yes, she is.
Oh, she's devious. It's for your own good. He can just hear it in her head. He can hear her voice in his head. It's for your own good.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you.
Sorry for the technical difficulties and the wonder that you missed ahead of time. But we're gonna take these. We're gonna void those out again because new OBS technical
All right.
difficulties.
We'll fix it for the YouTube channel.
We'll fix it for the YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for the lurk. Thank you for watching the vlog later.
Yeah.
We will.
And
yes,
we're
Joe.
very excited. We're very excited to get back into it with all three of us.
Yes.
But in the meantime, Glassdock and Bryn have little things coming up.
They do.
Yes.
So hopefully sometime soon. We will see when that will happen. I'm hoping before the 20th of April. That is our return. And we will see what happens and go from there.
Good stuff, man.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you.
And have a good evening, good day. And last to leave you with is be kind and don't be a jerk.
Don't be a jerk.
Enjoy.